Ayan. Hi everyone, I am Kimberly April Tawa, BSID 1, and I am here today to teach you some basic programming in C++. So before we start, let me just give you a brief background in regards to the C++ programming. When we talk about C++, this is like one of the powerful general purpose programming language aside from the C language to the HTML language to the JavaScript and also to the Python and many language programming. And C++ can also be used to develop operating system, browsers, games, and so on. C++ also supports different ways of programming like procedural, object-oriented, functional, and so on. This makes C++ as one of the most powerful programming languages. And C++ is also a flexible programming language, although I am a little bit struggling in this specific language compared to C and the HTML. Now, after that, let me give you some brief introduction in regards to some of the things that we need to look up in that we will be tackling later on. So I will be teaching you some of the brief things that you must know in programming. Now we are the first because we're going to three things, which is I'm given in an assignment that I will give later on. So let's just tackle some of the variables, the inputs, or the general library that we will be using while we are on the So now let's try to program our first problem. So let me screen share first. So this one. Now let's try. So now I am using a C++ tool or an installer which can be done on YouTube, which is a Turbo C++, but you can also try to download other programming C++ installer because Turbo C++ is kinda a little bit hard to use, and I would highly recommend to use Visual Studio Code because it was user-friendly and was really a great programming tool installer something that you can use not only in C++ language but also in other languages such as JavaScript and HTML. Now let's start. What we can do first is to make a new file, and then let's save it as first. Let's have this as first because this will be the first example. Let me just explain what is the first issue we're going to tackle or what we're going to program. So our first program will be the input or the Celsius and convert it into Fahrenheit. Let me check if I am Fahrenheit. Perfect. Okay. And then we can also input ID. ID. Let me just Let me a little bit explain to you the let me explain a little bit the program here, which is a single line comment with 2 forward slashes. This can be a comment, which is can be a guide to you, or can input this as the direction of the program itself. Okay, now let's start with our library. Okay. Start with our library. For our library, we will be only using 2 libraries on our programming for all of the 3 examples. So we will be using include, IOSTM package, and then hashtag include Conio package. Both of them, IOSTream and Conio, are called a header file library that let us work with input and output objects such as cout, which is a header file that adds functionality to C++ program. These 2 are the most important because the program won't run without the compilers. After that, let's input main void. So this main void are let's have this as main void is also called a function, or any code inside the curly brackets will be executed. Void is an empty data type that has no value. This function won't return any value to the calling function. Now, let's have the brackets, which is also always remember the end and the start of the program. Without it, can't have the program. We will be having CLSR, one of the included in the library, so that our program can run. Also, don't forget the semicolon. Always end with a semicolon. Wait. All of our statement always end in a semicolon. Okay. Now, we will be having our inputs as our input. We will use int if our inputs are just the whole numbers without decimals, such as 1, 2, 3 or negative 1, 2, 3. We will use float as the program if it has a decimal, and then we will use char if store single characters such as A or B, which are surrounded by single quotes. We also have different inputs and will be both. So let's have int, and let's make a comment so that we will have a guide. Input variables. Now let's name it as degrees Celsius and then Fahrenheit. And always don't forget the semicolon. And after that, contoxi is also included in our compiler, which makes the program align or in the center, or it just makes the program align and organized. Also Getch also aligned in one. Let's check out first. Getch. Yeah. So Getch was poses the output console until a key is pressed. We will always use and put this at the end of the program. And while Gotoxy is a function places cursor at a desired location on the screen. So let's move on. Let's say our Gotoxy will be 30 and 9. After that, we will introduce cout, which is this is not pronounced as scout, as cout, which is an object used together with the insertion operator of less than, which means to output or print a text. So we will print a text of enter degrees Celsius. And then after that, we also have sim, which is the user input. Let's have comments. Cout compute for convert degrees to Fahrenheit. And then let's input the same for which is also the form degrees Celsius, and then Fahrenheit is equals to the function. We also have the C++ operators, which operators are used to perform functions for variables and values to store to straight whether they are true or the formula for converting degrees to Fahrenheit is 9. Okay, we use asterisk for the multiplication. Degrees, don't forget to input the right value, which is the degrees. If you put here in the first place in your same spelling because of type it. 9 times degrees Celsius divided by 5 times 32. And don't forget the semicolon. And let's have again to the realignment output be converted right. Let's have cout again as the output. The converted degrees Celsius of Fahrenheit is include Fahrenheit as the input so that it would be detected. And let's have Getch as what I mentioned earlier to have organization and the end language. And now let's try to run the program. See if it will show us. There was some errors. Let's check out. Always check the errors if ever there be errors. Okay. So I can see that I included the wrong step. It's how case sensitive. Okay. Check. Okay, we have processing error on the autoexec. Okay, let's try to enter numbers. For example, star. Okay, let's try to have this a little bit space to do. Set control F1. Enter degrees 23. The converted degrees Celsius of Fahrenheit is 1. Let's try to have this on Google if they are damaged. So let's try a different number. Let's try 567. The converted degrees Celsius of Fahrenheit is 31. Just to ensure that it's functioning well, let's have this on Google and share. I stop sharing my screen and then let's try to degrees to Celsius from Celsius to Fahrenheit converter. Now we have share my screen. Now we have our converter, which is, let's try to have 567 to Fahrenheit. So you can see there that there is great differences on our answers. So let's try to mend that. Okay, I already figured out the error and it was the bracket operator. So we need the operator here so that for its function. So we're mistaken actually the whole. So let's try again. The degrees 45. The converted degrees Celsius of Fahrenheit is 113. Let's try to check that again, which is here on 5. Perfect. It's 113 Fahrenheit. Okay. And this is the program for the chart of degrees to Fahrenheit. Now let's try to upload other first give me sorry, screen share pala. Skip the window. And save you as the second example. That's CP2. Okay, and then let's have first the issue, which is input for a number or for order number, an amount of order, vendor, and compute for the change. And then it's also in our main library. Please include iOS to remove that page again and watch the include that page. Close and open brackets for the opening thing. For the variables, declaration thing, variables. So we will use input for the order number, and then we will use float since float was used to store point numbers with decimals and percentages. So 80 for the abbreviation for amount tender, and then PMO, the total amount tendered, and change for the change itself. Notes input for the number, total amount of tendered, and amount tendered. Now, let's have this a little bit longer since medyo maitim na siya. After that, we have, let's set the auto field, define it, and put on our output, both input or the order. Let's see the input order number. So I'll type in X autofill 25 see out calculate out total get the brackets. We're starting in EM. That is compute for change. If we got the change is total amount of the plus amount tender alignment. I'm sorry, semi essentially the number and then so CL is to be more organized, change, and then I'll find touch. And we have a goal statement. So let's try to run the clock. There's an error. Let's try to change some of the okay. So try here. Check the expression syntax. Okay, I detect I ended the question. Yeah, it would be the order number 2, for example, is 4, the input for the amount is 5, and the change of the number 2 is -1. This is for the change. Let's try to compute for that. So we have the formula, the change as total amount of order minus the amount tendered. So the total amount of order is 4 and minus the amount tendered. 4 minus 5 is equals to -1. So that is our lab that is functioning. Now, for our last example, let's have some operations, some hard operations. To complete summary example that we can make use of the operations. Let's open one, let's close this one, and then let's open file, save as our third example. So let's first include an issue for the problem, compute and display. Compute and display the square of a number entered by and let's input using labels wait lang, nagre-record ako ng program ko. Ayan. So let's continue. Let's include the header files or the compilers. Just include iosstream.h. Also include new.h. Let's have the input the main input and the brackets, which is the open and the closing of the program. And then some of the compiler's objects. And then let's have our input, the number, the cube, and the square. Have some notes. Input, variables. Enter the number. You enter the number, you have count the n and have a space and in which is in num. The formula for cube is equals to num times num times number. And then for the square, the formula is number times number. Don't forget the closing brackets at the end of your code. Then after that, let's compute for the square and the cube. And then the cube and the number is cube, and then another cout, some brackets because we won't be using gotoc, so they won't be on the same line. Square, the number is square. And then let's try to run the program to solve issues. Currently there are no issues. Let's try to enter a number. Let's have 5. The number is 125. The square of the number is 35. Let's just fix our code a little bit. So let's have some gotoc here instead of the line because it's a little bit messy. So let's insert the gotoc here. And so let's have entered the number 6. So the cube of the number is 2 minus 16. The square of the number is 36. Let's try to compute it manually. 6 times 6 is 36. That's why the square of the number is 36. The cube of the number is 6. Number times number times number. 6 times 6, 36. 36 times 6 is equals to 216. 6 means the answer. I hope you got something today in regards on programming some basic C++ language. And that's all. Thank you.